In the first ever Zombitrol Productions exclusive, I'm here at Toronto's Downsview Park and Riot Fest 2014 to speak to Iranian-American band Nostalghia. Now, Nostalghia combine elements of goth, ambient music, and punk to create a sound that's reminiscent of Bjork, the Sneaker Pimps, or even the Dresden Dolls. Their debut album just came out this past March, and it's called Chrysalis. I spoke to the band after their early set at 1:30 in the afternoon to speak about how their unique sound came to be. All right, I'm here backstage at the Toronto edition of Riot Fest. I got the members of Nostalghia. They performed on a mildly early yet sunny set this morning. How is that to play on a stage when you've kind of got really moody music and it's really bright and sunny and everyone just woke up? What's that like?
It's challenging. It's not ideal, obviously, especially when you're in the sunlight. It's hot, but it was a really cool crowd and people were receptive, and I liked the festival, so it was cool.
Is that, this is a punk festival and you've got a lot of different supporters from a lot of different genres of music. Do you find yourself being more comfortable playing certain types of shows, given the type of music you play?
I don't really pay too much about, to comfort. I kind of like discomfort, so even if we're plopped inside of places that we maybe shouldn't be, I don't mind that,
Sure.
But we like this festival for sure.
So it's funny you say you like discomfort. Your music can be comfortable. It can be very soothing, but at the same time, there's an aggression that's sort of laced throughout your music, and that's different than what you'd hear from I guess normal vocalists. So what would you where would you say that aggression comes from?
Are you sure you want me to answer that?
No, I'm extremely positive. I want you to answer that.
I think that we all have aggression, and it's really about what we do with it. I'm lucky enough to have an outlet. We all have the outlet, the funnel of music, so I can put all that through music and art and turn it into something beautiful, as opposed to, being a crazy bitch outside of music. Am I not supposed to say that word?
No, that's okay. That's okay. But no one's going to censor you in the end. So just think of it as the stage. We won't censor you, okay?
Right.
Okay. So why does then your music come out the way it does? Why doesn't it come out as like an extremely aggressive? Because you're associated a lot with like punk and metal, vicariously. Why does it come out the way it does, and perhaps sounding more like something like a darker version of Bjork sometimes, as opposed to extreme music? You know what I mean?
Well, it's really based on however I'm feeling in the moment, however we're feeling in the moment. I don't like to limit myself to any emotion, because I think that that's a bore. If we only wrote music that was geared towards metal and I had to just be a metalhead for the rest of my life, I'd rather just kill myself. I like to touch on both extremes and find the in-betweens and just be whatever is natural in the moment.
A lot of bands I talk to talk about that sort of in-between place. Roy, for musically speaking, when you're trying to interpret sort of these thoughts that come through, how is that for you? Is that difficult to try to find that little niche when you're contributing to the group?
No, Cassandra will, usually have a pretty good outline of where we're going to go with it, and then it's always been natural, pretty much from the beginning, of where the song goes. It kind of naturally just takes on a life of its own. It's going to be what it's going to be. We don't really think about let's take it in this direction. Sure. It just kind of becomes what it's going to be. And
because musically speaking, as well as the influences are wide. Is it you tend to, as opposed to someone who's playing punk or metal music, you have a very large selection of paints which you can create your art with. So is it really just what catches you at the moment in that sense? Because there is a bit of randomness about it then in the way you create. Then is what you're saying?
Yeah, for both of us, I think we just let the song kind of sit with us for a second and kind of. Literally, sometimes it's a second, and we both are like, we know where this is going to go. All right, let's get to work and get it there. Yeah. And it's we've always pretty much been in agreement of where a song's going to end up. And
so then, I wanted to talk to you about being as a classical musician, and then joining and collaborating with them. Is that hard to interpret sort of the more contemporary aspects of the music, or does it fit in nicely for you?
Well, this isn't the first time I've played something other than classical.
Right.
I like to be as well-rounded as I possibly can when it comes to music, because the more people that you can play with, the more experiences that you can have. And honestly, our personalities fit so well together that that's kind of what the catalyst was to becoming like a group.
Right.
So it was very easy. I felt like it was a very easy transition to come and play with them. It was just kind of fit, you know.
So, given that you really don't like to be limited to the styles you do, or even the thoughts that you have, generically speaking, is that hard to sort of find your place when you're playing live? Because like I said, we're at a mostly punk festival today. Some of the people who, in your press release, who they associate you with are a bit metallic. Do you want to get to a point where you're just playing your own shows? Or are you comfortable playing, alongside some of these genres that you might not want to be yourself? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't really believe in finding a place. I believe in making a place. Mm-hmm. And when you enter a festival, it's about standing your ground and creating your own space. And certainly we're going to be playing our own shows. And right now it's really about getting exposure and getting out there and being able to play for as many audiences as possible.
Sure.
And solidifying who we are as a band.
So if like regular old, punk or metal bands or rock bands want you to come play with them, even though that's something that, doesn't necessarily define you, you're open to that?
Yeah, of course. We're open to playing with whoever is honest and penetrate. And what I mean by that is like they're just real and in the moment. And when it comes to metal bands, punk bands, they're definitely real and in the moment. And their audiences are looking for something that's a little outside of the norm too. So that's really why they're receptive towards us.
I want to thank you guys very much for speaking to me today. It was a great set, and I wish you the best of luck with Chrysalis and any touring that you might have. And do you have any final words today?
Thank you.
With the Nostalgia backstage at Riot Fest 2014, this is Andrew Epstein for Zombie Productions, and we'll see you next time.